Hey yo, Mamdani, where those free buses at, bro? I'm your host, Joel Perez, and you're watching Wrestling with Politics. And today we're going to be discussing NYC Mayor Zoran Mamdani's big idea, an idea that I wholeheartedly support, and we're going to be making the big case for here today. But first, we have to ask that question. That's the title of this video. That question that I asked at the beginning, right there, as y'all saw in that clip. What's the status? What's going on? Where's the free buses at, bro? Because Zoran Mamdani, this isn't just a pie in the sky idea. Zoran Mamdani made videos on the campaign trail talking about this idea, and we can roll the clip. As a matter of fact, roll that first clip and let's see this video. Zoran Mamdani on the campaign trail making the case for free buses.
A true icon of New York, the Staten Island Ferry. The Staten Island Ferry is a beacon on the waters of New York City, shuttling about 45,000 people a day. And the best part? It's free. For decades after opening in 1898, the Staten Island Ferry was just a nickel. Then, in the 1970s, the fare rose to a quarter. And in 1990, 50 cents. But since 1997, the ferry's been free. And New Yorkers have come to know it as a dependable means of transit. And it's the best way to see the Statue of Liberty. So when people say buses can never be free, don't ask them to take a hike. Ask them to take the ferry. On June 24th, let's get some more free transit.
And so there you saw in that clip Mamdani making a very convincing case for why the buses should be free. The Staten Island Ferry, a staple of New York City, has been free for decades. So it's definitely possible to make these public transit systems free. It's not just socialism, as some of the detractors might say it is. And making videos like that on the campaign trail are a large part of the reason why Mamdani won. Because he was offering policy positions that to some might seem like socialism and free handouts and all this crap, but in reality, these are common sense and logical ideas. These are big ideas, but ideas that we should be working to accomplish because there's so many reasons, and I can break them down for you right here why the buses should be free, especially in a place like New York City. We could talk about the whole public transit system and the trains. I could go a lot further into this, but let's just narrow this down to New York City for a second, because if you think about it, in a place like New York City that's so darn crowded with all these people trying to get on the bus, it makes it difficult when everybody's getting on the bus, paying their fare, and tapping and doing and paying in various different ways, doing whatever it is, however it is that they're trying to get on the bus. It takes a long time for that bus to actually get boarded. If there's 10, 15, 20 people trying to get on the bus, and sometimes that's the reality in New York City. So part of Mamdani's other part of his proposal is to make the buses fast. And if you want to make the buses faster, part of making the buses run faster is eliminating that fare. So it would make things a lot more practical and a lot more faster. And the fact that not everybody has to start paying the fare, and now people could come in through the back door as well. It's not just the front and everybody lining up in a line. You could just enter the bus and the bus can keep on moving. Then it comes down to the bus driver as well, who some bus drivers have completely given up enforcing the fare because so many people don't pay it, and rightfully so, because rightfully the bus should be free. And at this point, it's sort of become like a silent protest in New York City until the buses do become free, because the bus driver has to enforce the bus fare. Technically, that's not even their job. Their job is to operate the bus and to keep the bus moving as safely and as efficiently as possible. But while they're trying to enforce the fare, they can't do that. They can't make sure that the bus is going efficiently if you're arguing with somebody for not paying their fare. That's another thing that takes up more time on the bus. You're stressing out your bus driver, you're stressing out the passengers, and it makes the bus just a completely stressful place to be in entirely. It's a high stakes environment in New York City when you get on a bus, and it shouldn't be that way. The bus driver, they shouldn't have to put their safety at risk arguing with some random stranger that you don't know if this person is crazy. You don't know what's going on with this person. You shouldn't be arguing. The bus driver is putting putting themselves at risk by arguing with that person and trying to enforce the fare. So it's a safety concern as well. And the bus driver, that's why a lot of them have given up even trying to enforce the fare, because of that very same reason. You're putting yourself at risk. And the more important part of a bus driver's job is actually operating the bus, not being somebody who enforces the fare. And then, speaking of enforcing the fare, the MTA spends millions, probably billions, who knows how much it costs us. They don't publicly release this. They spend tons of money just trying to enforce the fare, doing fare boxes, doing the whole Omni system, which who knows how many millions of dollars they spend on that garbage. Hiring the people who actually enforce the fare and give you a ticket. There's a whole division, the Eagle team or whatever the hell they're called, of the MTA, who's been hired to enforce the fare and give people tickets. And that's another thing that's wrong with this. There's just so much here. You're criminalizing your population. It's just another thing. And who are the majority of the people who are going to get on the bus? Low income and poor people. So you're criminalizing poor people for not being able to afford, not being able to pay the fare, which is now $3, which for some people that's not a lot of money. But if you ride the bus a lot, that $3, it's not just $3, it adds up quickly. If you have to ride the bus 4 times a day, that can easily turn into $12 a day, and that could turn into $100 a week if you ride the bus every day. I'm somebody who used to have to ride the bus multiple times a day. And thankfully in New York City, we could talk about fares. There's things like that, which makes the bus prices half price for low income New Yorkers. That's a great thing. And thankfully they've rolled that out. But again, it shouldn't be half price. It should be free, because that's another whole part of the discussion. And I'm just rambling on here, but there's so much that I'm very passionate about this issue. But that's another thing. We're already paying taxes towards the MTA, towards making buses operate. And so if your taxes are already going towards this $8 billion a year going towards funding the MTA, and apparently to make the buses free it would take 1.1 billion a year. So that's not money, those 8 billion that's just free for the MTA to use to make the buses free. They would have to find more funding for that. But if we're already putting $8 billion a year towards that, we can, I feel like, stretch out another billion to make the entire bus system free. That's how much it would take to replace the fare box revenue on the buses. So I think in this massive city budget that New York City has, it would definitely be possible. And I think it's a solid idea, because it would make, I mean, what are taxes for? That's another big discussion here. What are your taxes supposed to be for? The government has brainwashed you into thinking that you just pay your taxes and you receive nothing in return. You pay your taxes and we'll decide what to do with it. And listen, anything else is socialism. Forget about it. But in reality, the way that the taxes are supposed to work is that the government, you give the government your money, and in return, they provide social services. And the bus, it's a social service. It's a it should be, at least. It's in an ideal world. And unfortunately, we don't live in a world where what should be is what happens. But we should start. This is the whole point of making this video, of making these arguments. We should live in a world, and we should fight for a world where what's right is what's the case. And what would be right is to make the buses free, to provide this public utility for people. Because why do people get on the bus? They don't get on it because they want to. Maybe some of the time you do, but most of the people, especially in New York City, riding the bus are on that bus not by choice, but because they have to get to work, because they have to get to school, because they have to be somewhere important. And now, instead of being able to get to that place easily, and it's not, here's another thing, I just have so much to say here, but here's another thing. It's not like riding the bus is a pleasurable experience. So you're on this bus not because you want to, because you have to, and you already paid your taxes, but you're getting double taxed. You're getting triple taxed because you already paid your taxes. Technically, your money's already going towards the bus. It's already going towards the transit system, but now you're being taxed again to get on the bus every single time you get. So it's just completely preposterous. They brainwashed you into thinking that you're that no, you have to pay for the bus every single time, and if not, you're a bad person. But no, you already technically paid for the bus through your taxes. So it's complete propaganda. Anybody who tells you otherwise, and that's one of the main reasons that the bus should be free. It would make it more efficient, it would make it less stressful, it would make the lives of so many working class people better. So when Mamdani fought for that idea and made it central to his campaign, that was one of the main reasons I supported Mamdani. I supported him wholeheartedly because of that idea, because we need to get that done. And now that Mamdani's in office, I'm not just gonna sit back and forget that he ever said anything. Oh, and I love Mamdani. Oh, I love the way he smells. No, forget about all that crap. Now that he's in office, my job is to hold his feet to the fire, is to hold him accountable and make sure that he remembers what he said on that campaign trail, that he doesn't forget that video that he made. Because Mamdani, I remember what you said. You said you would make those buses free, and now you're in office. Now it's time for you to do that. It's not just about making the buses fast. He's been working on that, and apparently he appointed somebody in May who was the czar of making buses fast and free, and he's been trying to get this done, but he didn't include it in the 2026 budget. And since Mamdani took office, the bus fare actually went up from $2.90 to $3. So we can't just sit idly back and forget about this idea just because we're so in love with Mamdani and oh, he's filling these potholes. No, we need to stay vigilant. We need to hold these politicians' feet to the fire because power concedes nothing without a demand. And that's how things get done. It's not by playing celebrity worship and oh, Mamdani's so great and all this. No, it's by holding these politicians' feet to the fire. That's how things get done. That's how change gets made and political movements get built. And so that's what we need to do here. We need to hold Mamdani's feet to the fire every step of the way and remind him that these buses, they need to get made free because this is a sound idea. This is a logical thing. It's not socialism. It's common sense. And it's what your taxes are supposed to be working for. So that's what I have to say on this topic. Let me know in the comment section below. It's a heated debate. It's a heated topic, but I know where I stand and I have a lot to say about this. So let me know what you guys think. You know what I think. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think the buses should be free? I certainly do. Make your opinion known in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to hype, whatever that means, and don't forget to subscribe because there's a lot more coming from the Wrestling with Politics YouTube channel. For now, check out the other videos. We just made a video about Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson, their heated debate. And of course, we just spoke about Mamdani in the last video because Mamdani and AOC, they decided to abandon wokeness. Don't forget to look at that one. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all very, very soon.